Game Week 5 was a nightmare for FPL managers, which is why I've made some big changes to my team for Game Week 6. Hello everyone, my name is Akshay and welcome back to a brand new FPL video. In today's video, it is my Game Week 6 team selection. And just like I said in the intro, Game Week 5 was a nightmare. A lot of FPL managers did really bad. And I've made some big changes to my squad this week. But just before we get into that, if you are new around here, please do leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps the channel grow. But other than that, guys, let's get into it. So just as always, we will begin with my Game Week 5 team review. And it was a nightmare week for me. I scored 31 points overall and took a huge rank drop. I was initially ranked 1.8 mil and now I've gone all the way down to 3.3 mil. It just hurts me to even say numbers like that. But anyway, we'll get on to how the squad did. This won't take long because they all did terrible. Martinez, Chilwell, Gvardiol, Udogie, the whole back line blanked. Nightmare there. Only one player in my midfield got a return for me and that was Bukayo Saka getting the assist. Foden, Mbeumo, Maddison, Mitoma, all of those guys blanked, which was quite annoying because there was goals in that midfield, especially Man City scored 3 goals, Tottenham scored 2 goals, and then Brighton scored 3 goals as well. So it was a little bit annoying that none of the midfielders for me got a return bar Saka. And then up front, it was just the same. Nicholas Jackson, terrible once again. And then Erling Haaland got 6 points. He was my captain, so I did end up getting 12 points. But even Haaland could have scored a hat-trick in that game. So people who didn't captain Haaland in Game Week 5 got really lucky. However, the worst part, which hurt me the most, I did bench Sanchez because I did think that Aston Villa's fixture was better and Chelsea have been rocky as well. And then they did keep the clean sheet. Sanchez did get 3 bonus points, so it was an absolute nightmare all round. That probably would have got me a green arrow if I did actually get 41 points, if I did play Sanchez. But hey, it is what it is. You can't go back in time now. But anyway, now let's move on to my Game Week 6 team selection. So we'll start off in goal and defence. And this time I have put Sanchez in my starting lineup. And then my defence is Chilwell, Botman and Estepinian. But one thing I want to get into before I show you the rest of my team, I am recording this before the Champions League game. So this isn't super final, but it's pretty much what I'm going to do, but if there's no injuries and stuff like that. So make sure you follow me on Twitter. First link in the description to see my final team selection when the deadline comes around. But yeah, this is the preliminary team. So yeah, we'll start off in goal. Sanchez I am playing this week. Chelsea do play Aston Villa at home, and of course it's either out of Martinez or Sanchez. They're both playing each other, and I'm just going to favour the home fixtures, which is why I've gone for Sanchez. And then the same goes for Chilwell, because I don't want to play Martinez in my team and then have 2 defenders playing against each other, and then I'm hoping that is basically going to be a 0-0, which probably it isn't because Brighton and Chelsea is very unlikely to be a 0-0. Yeah, so I've just gone with double Chelsea. It is risky. I don't think they're going to keep clean sheets, but I don't really have any better options at the moment. And then as you can see here, Botman is one of my 2 new transfers in, so I have taken out Gvardiol. It just didn't work for me at all. I wanted him to be the nice safe pick in the team, and he did end up getting 1 clean sheet, I think, since he's been in my team, which is very frustrating. So I have taken him out. He is a rotation risk as well, and I have transferred in Botman because you can't ignore those fixtures. Newcastle have got Sheffield United, Burnley, West Ham, Crystal Palace and Wolves in the next 5 games. Their fixture run does get a lot easier now, which obviously I've gone for Botman instead of Shah and Trippier just to save some budget as well. And then finally, I've gone with Estepinian. He didn't play in Game Week 5 because he did have a slight knock coming back from international break, but I'm sure he'll be fine for Game Week 6. And at home to Bournemouth, fingers crossed Brighton get a clean sheet. If not, you would expect some attacking returns from Estepinian if he's going off how he started the season. But now let's get on to the midfield here. So I have Bukayo Saka, Foden, Mbeumo and Mitoma. So no changes in terms of transfers for my midfield here. And there is one difficult fixture coming up for me, which is the big North London derby. However, Spurs have not beaten Arsenal away from home since 2011. 12 years they haven't beaten Arsenal at home. It's always a high scoring game, and of course I'm going to be back in my own team, and Saka should be on the end of some returns in this game if the trend of it being a high scoring game does continue. Foden, he is in my future plans to take out of the team, but for now I'm just keeping him in the team because I don't want to take any hits at the moment. I don't know if he's going to play. He's pretty much more of just a punt play for me at the moment. And then Mbeumo and Mitoma both have really nice fixtures. Mbeumo is going up against Everton, and Brentford are at home, and Everton are really struggling to score at the moment. They just don't seem to have a play style, anything good going for them. And Mboma obviously is the talisman for Brentford, so that's an absolute no-brainer. Mitoma is been a bit disappointing since he's been in my team, I'm not going to lie. Brighton have been quite free scoring, but Mitoma just hasn't really been getting the explosive hauls that we saw from him last season. Hopefully now March is back on the right hand side and there's a bit more stability on this in the squad for game week 6. Fingers crossed that they do batter Bournemouth and Mitoma does get a haul. That would be brilliant. But yeah, the person I have dropped down to the bench is James Maddison. It does hurt me to drop down Maddison because he's probably the most exciting player in the team away from Haaland, but I am not playing I'm not playing Maddison against my own team, Arsenal, in the North London derby. I'm going to be there in person, so I'm 100% not wanting to cheer on Maddison scoring or assisting or getting any kind of good return in that game, which is why I've benched him. And also, of course, because of Spurs' bad record at the Emirates. But anyway, let's move on to the forwards now. And as you can see, I have Julian Alvarez, Erling Haaland, and Wissa. So I've made 2 transfers this week, and Alvarez is the second transfer. So I've lost my patience with Nicholas Jackson. I've taken him out, and Alvarez is the man that is going to be coming into the side. Pep did say in the interview that he's basically undroppable. I think those were the exact words that he used, or something around along those lines of those words. However, the last time he said that was about Nathan Ake last season, and what did he do in the next game? He dropped him and didn't play him. So I would take that with a pinch of salt with what Guardiola said. I don't believe anything he says. However, Alvarez has just been insane for Man City this season. He is overperforming, don't get me wrong. If you do look at the statistics, his expected assists is something about 1.3, something around that, and he's got 4 assists so far, I believe it is. So he is overperforming. However, he is in KDB's shoes as well as being like off Haaland a bit as well. So he's kind of like fluctuating up front as well. And for me at the moment, he's a no-brainer, which is why I've gone for him and taken out Nicholas Jackson. And then Haaland is Haaland. Of course, he's going to be my captain again this week. Man City play Nottingham Forest at home, so you would expect another battering incoming. I did call it when they got their 5-1 battering a couple game weeks ago, and I'm calling it again. I'm pretty sure they're going to batter Nottingham Forest. And then Wissa is my final striker. As the same points for Mboma, they play Everton. Everton aren't looking good, and always try and favour the home fixture as well, especially when it's attackers. I always try and favour the home fixture. So Wissa's back in the team. Hopefully he can score because he hasn't scored for 2 games now. So fingers crossed he can score. And then on the bench, I've dropped down Martinez. Well, 3 people I've dropped down on the bench. Martinez, Maddison, Udogie, and Riqui I haven't dropped down. He's injured now, but he is in my plans to take out next week. But I'll go over that in next week's videos. However, yeah, I have dropped down Maddison and Udogie. I'm not risking playing the Spurs players just because of my Arsenal loyalties. I know you shouldn't really play FPL like that, but I don't care. I don't think that Spurs are going to be keeping a clean sheet, and I think Arsenal are going to get the win and dominate the game, fingers crossed. But yeah, that is pretty much it for my Game Week 6 team. This video is a lot shorter than normal because it's pretty plain and simple. I've made 2 transfers. Just to recap once again, I've taken out Gvardiol for Botman and I've taken out Nicholas Jackson for Alvarez. And the good thing about this, those transfers are, I had £1.8 million in the bank before I made those transfers. I feel like I've strengthened my team dramatically, and now I have 2.5 mil in the bank. So basically it's a win-win for me and my team. Fingers crossed, this is a much better game week for me and FPL managers across the board. I hope you guys have a better game week. Please let me know what you guys did score for game week 5. I'm interested to see if there's any of you that did score really well, because I didn't really come across hardly anybody who scored well in game week 5. But anyway, guys, if you do have any questions, like always, let me know in the comments and I'll reply to all of your comments if you have any dilemmas for game week 6. But other than that, if you did enjoy this video, please do leave a like on it and also subscribe to the channel. But other than that, guys, good luck for game week 6, and I will see you next week for a brand new FPL video.